Murder in the morning from the Hidden Killers podcast.
Happy 2024, everybody, as we're back from our holiday break there to now bring you more horrible stories of horrible people for the new year. Tony and Stacey Cole. It's been an interesting, interesting couple of days so far. Everybody, it's not been positive. There's been so many like, oh my gosh, doom and gloom in 2024. I don't know what to expect in 2024. I'm going to go into it with a positive attitude because it feels like the years where it felt like this is going to be the best year ever. Ugh. 2020 seemed like, hey, might be a good year. We know how that worked out. I don't know. Maybe the years, I find that sometimes the years where you go into them and it's like feeling like it's going to be a shit show, it isn't. So maybe.
I'll be honest with you. I'm just going in with, you know what? It just means I have to get a new calendar. I've got a Ted Lasso calendar now. I'm very happy about that. That's about as excited as I'm going to get because of the last 3 years. So if it's a great year, cool. If it's not, I'm ready for it.
I'm just going to start operating off of the Mayan calendar that expired in 2012. I'm just going to.
Yes, that's exactly what we should all be doing.
I'm just going to make up my own one. And New Year's isn't until officially till spring starts. So
yeah, I was going to say, yeah. And the way right now for where I am, it's 30 degrees and cloudy. It's been cloudy for at least 4 or 5 days. So everybody's depressed. Everybody's down. Mm-hmm. We need something to uplift us.
Your Packers aren't doing too well, and
they're not my Packers.
Not your Packers. Yeah, you live in the territory, but
I do. But they just walloped my team on Sunday, so I really can't say anything.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. Well, this is across across the pond, but down below in that pond, Australian cyclist Rohan Dennis has been charged in the death of his wife, Olympian Melissa Hoskins. This is, and I was talking about this the other day a little bit off the air. It's like, oh, wow, another cyclist murder story. There seems to have been, because we just had the, Armstrong,
Caitlin
like
a love
Armstrong,
triangle, wasn't there?
The Caitlin Armstrong charges in that case. And here's another one in the world of cycling. This incident, very much another shock to the cycling community. Melissa Hoskins, who was 32, lost her life after being struck by a car in Adelaide, in Australia, following the announcement of her death by the Australian Olympic Committee. It was soon reported that her husband, Rohan Dennis, 33, a former Olympian and world champion himself, arrested and charged in relation to the incident. Hoskins, who represented Australia in the team pursuit event in both 2012 London and 2016 Rio de Janeiro Olympics, was involved in the fatal accident on Saturday. She was rushed to the Royal Adelaide Hospital, but tragically she succumbed to her injuries. According to South Australian police, the 33-year-old man, known to the victim, was arrested following the crash that occurred in the Adelaide suburb of Medindie after 8 p.m. on Saturday. He's been charged with causing death by dangerous driving without due care, and endangering life. Keep in mind, these are Australian charges, so they have different terms. The police statement did not disclose the identities of the individuals involved, but various media outlets have widely reported them as Rohan Dennis and Melissa Hoskins. The police report further reveals that the woman suffered serious injuries and subsequently passed away in the hospital, marking the 114th life lost in South Australian roads this year. Really? In 3 days? Or are we talking, are we counting into...
That's a good question. Well, she died on December 31st, so it was last year.
It was last year.
That's not many.
114, and that's a big country, compared to 71 at the same time last year, so they had an uptick. The driver has been bailed to appear in court on March 13th. The spokesperson for the South Australian Police declined to confirm the identities involved, stating, "We are unable to confirm identities." Additionally, a contact listed as Rohan Dennis website has yet to respond to inquiries for comment. The couple, who tied the knot in 2018 and retired from cycling their careers and were parents to 2 children, as depicted in Dennis' Instagram account. His last post on Christmas featured a family photo in front of a decorated tree, captioned, Merry Christmas from our family to yours." Melissa Hoskins has achieved considerable success in her cycling career. And we talked about that, including the pursuit of the gold medal, the 2015 World Champions in France. Her contribution to the sport extended beyond her competitive years. As Aus Cycling chief executive Marnie Fletcher stated, Melissa described her team pursuit gold medal at the 2015 World Champions as the highlight of her career, but for the rest of us, the highlight was just having her around. Although she retired in 2017, her presence as an alumnus of the sport has been felt and appreciated by many in the cycling and the riding community. I'm not clear because they're not really being very clear on what.
And here's the thing. I found this on Reddit, and take it or leave it. Reddit to me seems incredible as a source of sorts.
Yeah.
There are other details that there was some sort of a fight going on. She jumped onto, they say, the bonnet of a Volkswagen, which is the hood.
Okay.
Right? That's the hood, because the boot is the trunk. Grabbed at the door handle before the vehicle was driven off, and she fell to the ground and was then dragged by the vehicle. And they're claiming that the incident was allegedly captured on neighbors' security cameras. So I'm wondering, why is this not part of the mainstream media? Why is this part not being talked about, but it's bubbling under the surface that people know this?
Because it probably has not been, like we've been saying in the story, as of this recording, the authorities have not confirmed those pieces of it. And that's what makes this even more confusing, because it's like, well, was she in the car? Was she outside of the car? Was he driving the car? Did he hire someone to hit her with the car? Gosh, well, it'll be very interesting to see what exactly all of that, or how all of that transpired, if that in fact is true.
There is another story I just found. It says Hoskins was struck by the vehicle in her neighborhood. She jumped onto the hood of the vehicle her husband was driving, grabbed at a door handle before the vehicle was driven off, and she fell to the ground.
Okay. Well,
so that's actually, this is from KIRO Channel 7. I don't know if this is where this is based out of, but that's got way more detail than any of the mainstream news services have had.
I'm going to guess. So this is some sort of domestic dispute that really went into crazy mode, and people were making horrible, horrible decisions in the moment, and she ended up dead.
Man, and now the kids have lost both parents. It's just, if you're having a fight with somebody, take a breath, walk away. This doesn't solve anything for anybody. Yeah, involving motor vehicles in domestic disputes doesn't usually end well, especially ending up on a hood of a vehicle. I mean, did she jumped? I don't know. There'll, I'm sure, be an investigation to determine how she ended up on that hood. Did she jump on the hood? Did she get hit and landed on the bonnet or the hood of this car? There's a lot of questions, I'm sure, to be asked. And horrible story. Yeah, it is. And it's not the way you want to end a year. It's just, it's one whole family. It's one that's going to have probably a lot of questions to it. We'll see how he pleads and where this all goes. I'm going to guess really, really, really bad choices being made. I mean, it doesn't sound like he's, being a flight risk and, heading out to other countries to teach yoga classes and change his identity. I wonder, was alcohol involved? Was somebody drunk? Was somebody accusing somebody of doing something? How in the world do you get to this point? Well, I don't think it was over who opened the Pringles, because once you pop, you can't stop. And then it went into this. I think it could be an overreaction if it was something like that. But little bit. Probably something a little bit more than that. Dark story, but it seems fairly cut and dry almost of, what happened. It looks like some sort of dispute of something. Coming up on the show here a little bit later on in our next post drop that's coming down, we're going to be talking about the Colleton County Clerk of Court. We're talking about Rebecca Hill in the Alec Murtaugh story, and more accusations against her, this time plagiarism. Hang on.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advance access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free.
So you can binge on true crime
Until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.